Super Earth, our home, the beacon of order and progress, resolute, resilient, and unyielding, bound by blood, bound for greatness. Today in Re-Education Camp, we will learn about Super Earth and her armed forces. We shall begin by studying a map of Super Earth. Take it in, folks. This is as real as it gets. The map displayed on screen now details the zones that were totally annihilated and remain uninhabitable through actions brought about in the Great War. Information on this event is mostly need to know, however, you're of course free to speculate. We can see from the map that the United Kingdom and Ireland were wiped out alongside large swathes of Canada, Russia, Greenland, Ukraine, Moldova, Belarus, and a part of Romania. We suspect that several large nation states warred with one another over something petty and irrelevant, like religion. Regardless, the war ended when a neutral party formerly known as Sweden brought the planet together in glorious unification. Sweden, as a neutral party, rose from the ashes of the Great War unscathed and had plans for humanity's future. Sweden formed the world government under a federation and implemented the wonderful managed democracy that we are lucky to live under today. Remember, citizens, you enjoy the freedom of not even thinking too much about the elections. Instead, let the computers handle your vote. Simply answer the predetermined questions and the machine will vote for you. We know this works, as President Joel is the current serving president of the Super Earth Federation, being elected with over 99.8% of the votes in the previous two elections. Thank glorious democracy. Anyway, back to Super Earth. As mentioned, due to the effects of the Great War, a number of areas across Super Earth are deemed uninhabitable. We've covered those already. These are the zones in the yellow and black lines. The areas shaded in red represent the last bastions of rainforest left on our planet. These areas have been wisely designated as restricted areas and are to be left well alone. The designation of the old continents have been replaced with sectors, and each sector contains a megacity. Sector 1 contains what used to be known as Australia and parts of southern Asia, including Japan. Sector 1's megacity is situated in the country previously known as Singapore. Sector 2 encompasses China, parts of the Middle East, and most of Western Russia, exclusion zones notwithstanding. Its megacity is in the southern region, built upon what we believe to be the previous city known as Shanghai. Sector 3 contains Eastern Russia, Scandinavia, and some parts of Eastern Europe. Its megacity has been designated as Prosperity City to reflect the actions of the Swedish people who once lived there. It's built upon the city formerly known as Stockholm. Sector 4 contains the rest of Europe and the western parts of the Middle East. And oddly, it splits the continent formerly known as Africa. Its megacity resides in the old political powerhouse of Europe, i.e. Brussels. Sector 5 houses all of Eastern Africa, the rest of the Middle East, and stretches as far east as the old Earth state of India. Its megacity, Megacity 5, is built on the site previously known as Jerusalem. Sector 6 contains the southern and middle Americas, and it also includes one of the rainforest reserves. Its megacity, number 6, is situated on the old city site of Buenos Aires, previously in Argentina. And finally, Sector 7. Sector 7 houses what used to be the United States of America. Yellowstone Park has been redesignated Superstone Park in honor of unification. Its megacity is situated where New York used to be. It's not entirely clear if the sector or city numbers represent some sort of hierarchy. If that was one day the initial intention, it is certainly no longer. The men and women of Super Earth are united in our fight against all who would oppose democracy. Speaking of which, we will now move swiftly on to Super Earth's armed forces, or the SEAF. Official estimates put the SEAF at being able to call upon between 150 and 250 million soldiers at any given time. Considering that every single Super Earth citizen is required to undergo basic military training and are actively encouraged to join the military, who via the state gift citizens rifles on their 16th birthday, this number could theoretically be pumped up to several billions if most of the reserve forces were acquired and deployed. The SEAF is divided into several branches, which have various roles and responsibilities. The infantry branch is dedicated to most frontline duties, and is further subdivided into the Federal Planetary Guard, which is mostly militia and police, the SEDF, Super Earth's Defense Forces, Orbitable Stations, and Colony Defense Armies. This is mostly a militia force, but with better equipment and training, and much more integrated into the regular army, and the SEIF, Super Earth Infantry Forces. The SEAF has its own navy, and there are various supportive divisions, i.e. the engineers who take care of fortifications and maintenance of defensive emplacements, the artillery divisions responsible for ICBM silos, and the SEAF artillery sites and other assorted fire groups. The medical section is responsible for delivering SEAF approved stims everywhere, and to keep injured soldiers alive for as long as Super Earth allows it, and the logistics corps. This is responsible for everything from delivering frozen Helldivers to giving you the gun that you need to defend your home. And speaking of the Helldivers, they operate as a separate, mostly independent unit. The Helldivers group is the best that Super Earth can offer against the countless enemy hordes. The Helldivers are the greatest line of defense for liberty, democracy, and freedom. Helldivers are trained in the Martian training facility. Upon completion of their training, they are frozen using cryogenics, and unthawed only when Super Earth High Command orders it. Although a small number of Helldivers are always kept awake should any emergency rise, or for things like parade duty or other official ceremonial duties. The Helldivers operate in a very asymmetrical combat doctrine, meaning that, outside of orders from High Command, almost every single Helldiver is responsible for himself and can choose any course of action to achieve victory, as long as it benefits the war effort. Even a Green Cadet is granted maximum operational priority. They command their very own super destroyer and have full autonomy of how they wish to conduct warfare. The first recorded incident of the Helldivers being used was at Northman's Creek. Pre-2084, not long after our prosperous unification, a minor rebellion occurred. A socialist government situated at Northman's Creek attempted to secede. 50 of the first and best Helldivers dropped onto their parliament building and quickly removed the dirty socialist regime from power, and their lives. Once the head of the government had been removed, the socialist troops scattered and the fight was easily won. Northman's Creek was once again united with the Federation of Super Earth. Now the Helldiver forces numbers in the millions, with recruits coming to join from all across Super Earth and her outer colonies. Speaking of which, the Second Galactic War has begun. 100 years of managed democracy has brought prosperity to voters across Super Earth's glorious systems. New planets were filled with new voters after their liberation from the numerous threats that once held an iron fist over them. The SEAF began replacing the Helldiver heroes, garrisoning the loyal planets in order to keep the bug threat secured and the stability of liberty strong. However, these stubborn bugs will never stop their futile attempts in overthrowing democracy. The Terminid threat returned. They escaped from their farms in the fringes of Super Earth space, and are spreading their way across our galaxy. They appear renewed, changed, and ready for another arse-kicking with the redeployment of the Helldivers to deliver their managed democracy. The first major order of the Second Galactic War was given. In order to control the rampant spread of bugs, High Command ordered the redeployment of the Helldivers into Operation Valiant Enclosure. The first campaign of Operation Valiant led the Helldivers to the Horizon sector, and they were put on the offensive to bring managed democracy to the planets of Heath and Angel's Venture. I'm pleased to report that this was successful, and the liberation of Heath was an angry slaughter of the vicious Terminid threat. Glory to democracy. Thanks for watching, folks. If you want to hear more Helldivers lore, please click the video on screen now, and thank you to Sovereign of War, aka Chaos, for completing the Google Doc that I used to reference a lot of what is discussed today. There's a link in the description if you want to read it.